Right, good morning everybody. My name is Krishan and you can see it's continuously Toh Emin, Ewe and Ewe Jian. And today our case study is about motivating the sales team and designer kitchen products. Alright, so before we get into the evaluation and the analysis, I would just like to give you a brief overview of what the case study is about. Right, so Designer Kitchen Products is a company which sells high-range kitchenware across Great Britain as well as Europe. The company is based in Leicester, England, and about a year ago, the company actually hired David Seymour as the sales manager to achieve two simple targets. These targets are to increase the company's sales revenue by 20%, and the second target would be to prepare the team for a European expansion. Now, moving on, we've identified two problems with the company. The first one being David Seymour's poor leadership skills, and the second one, which is the sales team is incapacitated. So the first point about David Seymour's poor leadership skills. Now, based on the case study, it's actually evident that he hasn't met the terms of his contract, which were to increase the company's sales revenue by 20%, as well as to prepare a team for European expansion. Whereas he is also too emotional in terms of dealing with his sales team. Like, he's too cautious of how they might feel. Of course, you might argue that it is necessary to have a certain amount of emotion when dealing with people, but when it actually hinders your performance, that becomes an issue. Now, the second point of sales team being incapacitated, that is evident through the problems faced during meetings and also during sales attempts. The team has faced a lot of issues with communication as well as biasness among themselves. For example, Max and Natalia, who often seem to have each other's back except for everyone else's. So, we've decided to focus on the problem of David Seymour's leadership skills, as his performance at the helm of Designer Kitchen Products sales team determines the increase or decrease of the company's profit margin. Next, I'd like to invite my teammate to explain the alternative solutions.
Good morning, I'm Emin. So I'll be presenting the alternative solutions for David to improve his leadership skill. So first of all, in order to improve David's leadership skill, the DKP should provide training courses such as critical thinking, way to agree disagreeably, and decision-making related courses for David. So furthermore, besides the courses I mentioned just now, like, the company can also provide training courses with professional certificate, such as the project management professional license or the Six Sigma rental certificate, in order to improve David's leadership skill. So furthermore, David will also participate these training courses with others managers from various companies, so that he can share his experience and thoughts of how to manage his employee. So secondly, team building. In order to solve the problem in the sales department, the first step is to rebuilding the relationship of the team members. So the company should offer the team building activities for the team members to boost their team performance and promote teamwork, and allow the team members to strengthen their relationship by having a better understanding of each other. So for instance, the DKP should offer team building activities in order to eradicate the tension of the team members, and this would also break the stereotype of the team members of not being able to communicate with their superior, and allowing David to improve the chemistry and work better with their team members. So last but not least, implementing deadlines. So implementing deadlines on David's small targets, as we know that from the reference of David plans, we know that he requires a weekly report from his team, from his employee. So it's also should be made compulsory that David should meet his objective on time as well. So according to Overton formula, it's significant for each employee to meet their deadline, no matter which position are they in their company hierarchy. It's important for this employee to submit their project on time. So, given that David had held on the position for over a year but still failed to achieving his objective, the board of directors should make it clear that his job is on the line. Like letting him know that failure of achieving his objective may portray him as a poor leader and unfit for the position. So next, I would like to pass to Yumi and Ewe Jian for evaluate the solution.
Good morning, Miss. And today I'm going to present about the cons of evaluation of solution. Okay. For the pros, for the first solution is training. And based on the problem statement, we knew that actually David Seymour had poor leadership skills. So if David Seymour attends some training course or training activity, it will help David Seymour to be a better leader and to improve his implementation of an effective leadership to his company and improve. The most important point is it can improve the David Seymour leadership decision-making skills.
On the other hand, there are some incentives to provide training for David Seymour. Firstly, it will be financially strenuous to the company because this kind of training courses for manager is a higher level of training, so it will cost a lot of money on this activity. The second disadvantage is training courses are also consuming valuable time. So if the manager went to the training courses, it will the company will know higher level position people to supervise or manage the company. So next slide.
Okay, for the second solution is team building. The pros of team building is actually based on the case study. We knew that the employees of David Seymour have a lot of conflict or misunderstanding. If the team can attend the team building session or activity, it can help the team can bond and build trust amongst themselves and understand each other well, and communication and work better. And the most important is work is more efficient and effectively without any misunderstanding. And actually participate the team building section not only for the team, this also can help the David Seymour to understand his team very well.
Although there are a lot of benefit and advantage to provide team building for the sales team, but it also has the downside, which bring negative impact to the company and also the working environment around it. So, according to the research, the lifetime for a positive relationship, which built by the team building activity, will only last for 60 days. After 60 days, the relationship between team members will revert. So, if a company want to organize the team building activity regularly, it will cost a huge spending on this activity as well as the burden of the company. Moreover, not all the team building activity are suitable for the employee. Sometimes the team building activity will cause a largest conflict between them. So this is because the personality of everyone is not the same. Next, we'll go to
Last but not least, the solution is the implementing the deadline or David Seymour targets. From the case study, we knew that actually David Seymour has set some target to his employee, so the company actually has to do the same thing like David Seymour and set some targets for David. Is because if company implementing the deadline on David Seymour targets, it can provide a perspective on task-oriented leadership, and it's enough room for David Seymour to match the leadership skill to the situations.
Deadline usually make people feel oppressed, especially at a time when the working environment is not favorable. For example, the conflict between the team member has already made David Seymour a big problem to solve. What if we implement this deadline target on David? Definitely, it will bring more pressure on David and also influence his further working performance. Next I'll pass to Krishan to complete the conclusion.
Alright, so to conclude our case study, it's safe to say that we will be focusing on implementing deadlines on David Seymour's targets simply because it is best for a company to treat any problem related to employee or organizational issue with respect to hierarchy. Working against the gradient of power would be harder compared to working along the gradient of power, and so we've decided that when you implement deadlines on David Seymour's targets, it actually proves as a form of external motivation for the man so that he can motivate his team further to achieve their targets. And when they achieve their targets, in return, he would also achieve the company's targets, which fit his terms of his contracts. That is all. Thank you.
All right. Now you are talking. Okay, in terms of implementing deadlines of David Seymour's targets, you say one of the cons is that it is induces stress.
Yes.
Right, and that in turn would hinder his performance. So, any ideas on how you want to overcome that, or anything that you have as a backup in terms of stress?
I would believe that in terms of stress
And how it could potentially become.
So let me just get the question clear. It's trying to say that
Yeah.
we just target any induced stress from implementing deadlines.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
I think it would be best to give him a fresh start, not to actually give him short amount of time. It will be advisable for the board of directors to actually lay out the terms really clearly, saying that look, we know that you've not met your targets over the past year, but the thing is, right now we want to give you another chance, and now we've got to make it clear that you have this amount of time, and this is how you're going to what you need to achieve. So I think if you give him enough time, it shouldn't be an issue. But even if there is an extra induced stress from implementation of deadlines, I believe the company should actually look at providing retreats or providing benefits as well in terms of meeting deadlines, like extra commission. These kind of things will actually motivate him to work better.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.